Alright, so the first part of this tutorial is going to be about writing ionic compounds. So that's the first part in 3M3B, is actually writing them down. And there's a 3-step method to doing that called the pop, lock, and drop it method. So let's say that we have an ionic compound, which we know is a metal and a nonmetal. I have Mg and O. The first step that I need to do is figure out the charges, and that's based on the valence electrons. So Mg has 2 valence electrons, so I know that's 2 plus. O is a nonmetal, that means it gains 2. It has 6 valence electrons, so it'll gain 2, so that makes it 2 minus. My first step is to just pop up the charges, switch them, and lock them into place. These are both the same, so it'll still look like that. And then your last step, so this is the lock, this is the pop, and your last step is to drop them down into subscripts. Now, since they're both 2, we don't have to write that at all, so our formula is just MgO. But now let's look at one that doesn't have the same charges. So I have Al, that's my metal. Then I have I, which is my nonmetal. I is in group 17. That means it has 7 valence electrons, so it forms 1 minus, because it only needs 1 to get to 8. Al is a metal, and it's in group 13, so that means it's 3 plus. So my first step is I pop up the charges. My second step is I switch them, and I lock them into place. And then my third step is I drop them down into subscripts. And remember, you don't need to write 1, so you can put it down there if you need help. But your compound would just be AlI3. Alright, let's look at one more. So I have O, and then I have Cu. I gave these to you in the wrong order, so make sure that you know to put the metal first. O has a charge of 2 minus. Cu, in this case, let's say it's copper 1, will have a charge of 1 plus. So my first step, Cu1, O2. My second step, switch them and lock them. My third step, drop them down into subscripts, and that's your formula. The next part of this is going to be about actually naming ionic compounds. So we just did these 3 examples. These are not in the same module packet as yours. These are just printed out examples. So to name them, you just take the metal that you have here, and then you take the nonmetal. The metal you leave exactly the same. So Cu is just copper. The nonmetal, you drop the last couple letters and you just write oxide. So for this one, aluminum is the metal, it stays the same. Iodine turns to iodide. Magnesium is the metal, it stays the same. Oxygen turns to oxide. So it's just a simple matter of replacing the last half of that word with IDE. So here, aluminum. Then we have N3 minus, that would be nitride. And then if we wanted to do pop, lock, and drop it, you just switch those 3's, but since they're the same, you would just write ALN. You don't have to write Al3N3, although you can. Here, Cl is our nonmetal, Ba is our metal. That would be Ba, if you switch the 1 and the 2, 1, Cl2. So your formula is just BaCl2. We would call this barium and then chloride.